TikTok.
Hello. Hello. We're here doing this improv intro. Hi, I'm the Warrior Witch. You can call me Nike. You know, the usual. So when Olivia was here, we did this like FAQ get to know each other thing, but we realized after she had left that we didn't film an intro. So this is the intro. We did this thing. If you want to find Olivia, I'll have her channel and stuff linked in the description. If you want to find me, I have social media and stuff. And I have part 1 because everything we filmed was long. And so I have part 1. And if you want to see part 2, the rest of our thing together, go to her channel. It should be out relative to when this goes public tomorrow on Wednesday. If this video has already been out for a day, then it's already out and you guys can go watch it. So do that. It's fun. We had a good time. I miss her already. And on with the video. Okay. I'm gonna have a good and sexy time.
Hello. Obviously, I have Nike with me.
Obviously. And with the classic Dr. Pepper, everybody's gotta know.
Yes, I've got black coffee. It's too hot, though, so maybe later.
Yeah, it's hot outside, too.
I know.
You're crazy for having hot coffee.
I just like to suffer, I think. I really think that that's what it is.
Alexa, what's the... Oh. Alexa, what's the weather?
It's 69 degrees.
Nice. It's 69 degrees. Nice.
Nice, perfect. Okay, if you don't know who Nike is...
You're insane.
Honestly, you should go to her channel. I'll link it up here. She's wonderful, and I'm pretty sure both of us are trying to make vlogs of my visit.
I think you did it backwards. I think it's up there. Because I do it backwards every time. No, you're right. I'm wrong. I always get it wrong every time. It's this way.
I'm a professional.
I am a professional. My videos half the time, I can't swear.
You can swear. I censor it with the Enderman sound.
Excellent.
So
every time I want to link something in a video, my viewers literally watch me go.
I've done that so many times. It's on that side.
Yeah, I just keep in the full like wait, think, play it in your head. I literally have to like reverse the screen and be like, it's there. And every time I get it right, I'm so proud.
Yes. I'm like, it's gonna be. I'll link it. Above.
I'll link it. Easy cop out.
Yeah, amazing. So what we're doing today is kind of just going to be a super chill hangout. We have a bunch of questions, both not witchy and witchy, that we're just going to be chatting and hopefully... Oh, can you hear me?
We'll find out.
Yeah. Audio. Oh, this made me so mad.
Can you put it on your strap?
That's a good idea. Amazing.
And I don't know half these questions either, because we started coming up with some together, and then you were just going on the list.
Yeah,
like, I'm not telling you.
I want to be mysterious. Mysterious and quirky. Okay, so I have questions for her, and we're both going to ask each other the same question. Great, here we go.
Yes.
All right, so one of the first questions is, what's the grossest and or weirdest ingredient you've ever used in one of your spell work?
I mean, bugs are usually a standard.
Yeah.
That's always a good time. I have, because we get like big fat June bugs here. Mm-hmm. So there's June bug bodies everywhere. Ladybugs will invade your home in spring, in that first warm period. So they'll
all the beetles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stink bugs are always fun. And then, I don't know if it would be gross, but it's kind of weird because it's like an oddity. There's a vintage shop here that sells things like crystals, but they also have, like your typical vintage shop. There's also, in that same case, there's like crystals, but there's also like preserved bugs and shark's teeth. And one time they had a stingray barb, so I used that for protection.
Oh, yeah, I have a bunch of those. Those are actually used a lot in Filipino folk practices for protection.
Yeah. So I was right.
You were correct.
I was just going intuitively of like they use it to protect themselves.
Yeah,
so.
You were correct.
Excellent.
You'll see them on like staffs of practitioners and to drive away the evil spirits.
I love that. I still have it in the altar.
Yeah, super cool. I love those things. I don't know what mine is. I mean, like bodily fluids.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get grossed out about.
Yeah, fingernails, hair,
Yeah.
other things.
Other things. Yeah, there's definitely, like, bodily fluids, bugs, dead things. I don't know. I feel like there's not, like, crazy weird things.
It's not super, super crazy.
I mean, if you, like, if those things don't weird you out, then most things probably won't.
True.
Right? I guess that was a boring question. It's fine.
I mean, it's fine. Some people, a lot of people are used to just using, like, herbs and
That's
crystals, which is fine. Like, it's normal. We do
Yeah.
too. But, you know, there's realities, especially in, like, folk magic.
Yeah.
I feel like there's parts that people don't want to talk about. Most beginner witchcraft stuff is not going to include bodily fluid.
True. Yeah, very true. Except for my upcoming book review, and then we'll talk about, or
Oh.
previous book review. I don't know, whatever one. And if it's out, then it'll be linked, so it's fine. Of Blood and Bone.
Oh.
Have you read that one?
No, I keep meaning to.
It's so fucking good.
I need to.
Literally,
That'll have to be my next one.
All right, next question. Yes or no answer only. Have you ever done anything less than legal for your craft?
Yes.
Yes. I have.
I can tell you to cut,
Yep, same.
and all that gets cut.
Yep. They'll never know.
You'll never know.
Do you want to, like, ask these? I'm sorry about my handwriting.
Yeah, I can
I'm
do
writing
that.
down here.
Oh boy. What's one of your cringiest moments, witchy and mundane?
Why did I write that one down?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's, like, a funny one, but also I, like, don't actually want to share it. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out, like... Okay, so this is the thing, is, like, I don't have a lot of shame.
Same.
So there's not a lot of things that, like, would be cringy to other people that I felt cringy about. Like, I was just like, I did that. I don't regret it. But I'm trying to think of, like, a cringy...
I don't think I have any cringy witch moments, honestly.
Cringy witch moments. Oh, okay. So this is kind of a cringy witch moment. For the Hecate course, the first one of the things is you're supposed to bury the offerings, right? And it's either the night of the full moon or at least some...
I've got one.
Okay, sometime between, like, the 3 days after the full moon, or new moon. And I lived at a crossroads. If you hear stuff, the window's open because it's fucking hot, so deal with it. I lived at a crossroads, and I was like, it's fine, I'll just bury it there. It was super late. I was not about to drive to buttfuck nowhere and try to find a crossroads and, like, bury it there. So I was like, you know what, I'll just bury it at the crossroads that is, like, right there. And so it's in my front yard, and I, like, shared it because it was a complex. And so I shared it with all these other people, and it's a very busy crossroads. I'm at the end, and I'm digging, like, this little hole in the grass in the middle of the night, and there's, like, a neighbor outside, like, smoking a cigarette, and then the sprinklers come on, and I'm in a dress, and the sprinklers come on, and I was like, and I'm, like, right next to the road, like, the little button for the stoplight, it's, like, right there, so I'm, like, right there, so I'm just in a dress, like, digging, sprinklers on in the middle of the night, and I'm like, everything's fine, nobody look at me, and so I'm, like, putting all this stuff in this hole and, like, burying it, and this neighbor's just like,
All right, then.
like,
Nose to mind his business.
Yes, exactly, but that was probably one of the cringiest things.
Why is mine so similar? I was doing a working, and where I used to live a few years ago was, like, you had the apartment complex and the regular roads, but there was this little path through, like, a small little patch of trees, because it was, like, road, sidewalk, some trees, and then, like, a slight hill, and then past those trees was my apartment. So there was this little walking path that, like, college kids had made down, because it's, like, directly at the school, but otherwise you have to go around. So it's going down this little path, and, you're covered by all these trees, but it was a night where all the college kids were out. So everybody's, like, walking around. So when I go, no one's there at first, so I'm, like, completely alone, it's fine. But then as I'm in the middle of, like, doing stuff and trying to bury things, and I'm, like, dressed up and everything, too. I've got, like, the fur on my... Oh, yeah, I was, like... Yeah, like, the whole thing.
Oh,
so I'm, like, dressed all weird. And nobody ended up finding me, but I had to, in order to avoid being seen, I felt like just this little feral child. I had to, like, back up into the woods and be like...
Just, like, crab walking in the woods.
I literally, like, crouched down and just sort of gently crouch walked
Mom,
my
the
way
weird
into the
kid's
woods. Oh my
outside
god! I was like, if somebody fucking walks up this path, there's nowhere for me to hide. Like, I can hide from the
There's
road, I
no-
can't hide from the path.
And there's no explaining that either.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't just be like,
I was
I'm hanging
just-
out.
here by myself, dressed up.
I just enjoy paths.
They're like, okay.
It'd be like, you're fucking weird. Because,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's out drinking. Like, it's all the kids walking around going to the
Oh,
bars and stuff.
no.
Because it was like a Friday or Saturday night. Yeah. So, a time that you've used ingredients that you needed to scavenge in a pinch.
I think when I first moved, both ways,
Yep.
that was hard because I was so used to working with the fauna and flora of Colorado, and then I moved to California, and then I had to learn that, and it wasn't really in a pinch, but I guess it was just like, it was very disorienting. When I travel, though, I think it's a lot of like figuring out just like what's around you in that moment. So like if I think you have a video on like travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travel witchcraft.
But like when you're in a hotel or something, there's a lot of resources in there, you know, like there really are. So because they have like a little food station, and like you can use their salt,
Coffee filters.
the coffee filters. Yeah, like you can use like the pens and the thing for sigils and such, and
Oh, you could use coffee filters for protection so easily filter out anything you don't want in. Oh.
yeah, like you just have to get really creative, and that's kind of the fun part, I think.
Yes.
Is like just kind of being like, okay, what is this used for mundanely, and how does that correlate spiritually?
I usually don't have to end up scavenging because, like, very early on, I really, really was into the idea of travel altars. So now I have this one. It was meant to be like a bead container from Walmart, where it's like this little plastic container, and then inside are small little circular ones for $5. I've put it in my videos before. I'm pretty sure I have it in my, like, dollar store witch haul video. But it's like $5. And so I filled that with herbs and put it in my travel altar. So I have at least, like, my basics. So I'm never out. But there are definitely things where I'm like, oh, like in certain money spells when I want to use like shredded up bills or whatever, I don't really have access to that because we don't really have that even in our witch store here. So I have to like scavenge other things to represent that. Maybe I have to like find. I actually have this giant pile of pennies for some reason. So my money bowl right now probably has about 50 pennies.
You could use this for I usually like dig them out after it's like soaked it up, and like use it for offerings if I'm like foraging or going to the graveyard or.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I should do that.
I keep like a little thing in my car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually like having to do things on paper, or if I don't have the other one is because I'm a little bit of a freak. If I can't find a good picture of somebody, or if I don't have a picture of somebody, I may have their birth chart instead. And like, you can use.
She's scary.
I may or may not have reverse engineered about 5 birth charts at this point.
They're scary, bro.
I'm having a good time. So like, it's not. I don't consider it to be as strong as like a photo, because like their countenance is always gonna, to me, for my practice, like their looks and their face and their full name is going to be more powerful, I think, than a birth chart, because you could feasibly have the same birth chart for a couple of people. So I'd rather have that. But in a pinch, I definitely have printed out on my little Polaroid Zip a picture of their birth chart and used that.
Okay, but that's kind of like, that's also like kind of aesthetic sounding.
It
like
is aesthetic.
You printed out the birth chart on the Polaroid and was like, I'm gonna use this for spell. That's pretty fucking cool.
Well, there's stickers too, so you can just.
Oh, that's.
Yeah,
I love that.
You should definitely get the Polaroid Zip for like as a small tangent, because like in my Book of Shadows, I'll print out pictures of like plants and put it down, or I'll take a picture of my spell as it's going and put it on like the page where I'm
I
recording
should get one of those.
You
I
should.
always like doodle it a little bit, and then like I get lazy and I'm like, I already just spent all this energy and time on the spell.
Oh, it's
and
wonderful.
I really don't want to.
It's wonderful. You should absolutely do it. It's super cheap. The photo refills, like it's wonderful, and you can just connect it to your phone.
Send me the link.
Yep.
Dope.
You'll have to remind me because the ADHD will get me. But
Okay, that's fine.
yes.
Actually, when I was working with, this is gonna be like another video where I mentioned this, where I was waiting for one of my friends at his job where he served. I was just like hanging out there working, and maybe it's in this journal, but I definitely drew him like a little sigil and like drew a little pentagram on my page and like folded a dollar into like a little elephant and charged it in the restaurant on the bar. And it was very subtle. Not really. It was subtle, but like
Not really.
I was like so I took my green pen that I had with me. I think it's in this journal maybe, but I took my green pen and I like drew a little pentagram and like any other sigils around it, and then I had the little the dollar that I had folded up, and I set it in the middle, and I was like charging it in the middle of this fucking restaurant. And like it's not like you know, a 2-star restaurant, but it's not a 5-star. It's like maybe
A mid-tier.
a step above like an Applebee's or something. I don't know. And so I'm sitting there like charging this shit
At the Olive Garden doing witchcraft.
at the Olive Garden doing witchcraft, as you do.
As one does.
And then I had like one of those gold little clips that I fucking love from the witch's box, and I like clipped on 2 extra like attracting sigils onto the little elephant, and I gave it to him. So like I just used what I had, but he was like telling me that, you know, he's like, I hope I make good money today, and I was like, I can help. I can help you with that. So
Your witch friends always got you.
I guess that kind of works. You want me to ask the other one?
Yeah.
You asked too. Okay. Give me a time when your skeptical friends have asked for a working.
I love this shit so much. So they don't usually ask for spell work because that's not what I talk about so much. Because, like,
True.
to my skeptical or atheist friends, that's much more of like the woo side. But for some reason, like even skeptics still, to some degree, even if they say they don't, kind of believe in astrology. So I 100% have had friends that I know for a fact say that they're agnostic or atheist, but they'll text me sometimes and be like, hey, so what are the stars doing right now that's making my life go this certain way? Or what do the stars say about like when my date's coming up? And I'm just like, oh, so you're a skeptic, huh? I see. Allow me to show you. And so I'll like tell them what's going on without them having to tell me what's going on. They'll just be like, why is my life the way it is? And that's all that they'll say. And I'll just give them a bunch of shit that's going on. And I'll be like, well, you've got this and this and this and this. And this is coming up, so watch out for that. I straight up like, I'm pretty sure I predicted someone like getting injured or something. Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of crazy because I used to be a skeptic on astrology, and now, you know, I've met Nike
And Capt.
Capt.
Capt is
Yeah,
so good.
yeah, I've met Nike and Capt, and they have proven me wrong every time. So it's getting interesting.
Our wife group is so wonderful.
I will never need any other.
Who needs a
people.
man when
Who
you
needs
have
a man when you
7
have
wives?
7 that are all married to each other?
Yeah. It's not just like the wives have wives. It's all the wives are wives.
All our wives.
If you become a wife to
Yes.
one wife, you now have
You
many wives.
You become a wife to all the wives.
You become a group wife. Or you could be Frank and be the Scarlet husband.
Yes. Let's see. Skeptical friends. Okay, so you know how you always, like, if you're witchy, you always have that joke where you're, like, with your friends, and you're like, that ex was an asshole.
You want me to do something to
I'll
him? Let me
hex
know.
him. And most of my friends are like, no, Olivia. And I'm like, I'll do it. And, like, I know that they never ask. Like, I'm just like, look, you know what? But
I could
okay,
do it.
in reality, I actually don't just tell them that I'll hex them lightly. But there was one ex that was, like, wildly abusive in so many ways. And so I was like, look, if you ever just want to drop a name and a birthday, and I know you have photos, hit me up.
You just send me a little something.
And my friend was like, no. And then all of a sudden, like, this whole thing happens, and they reach out, and they're like, okay, here's that.
Here's that stuff you said you wanted.
Right. Here's the name, here's the birthday. I don't want to know anything else. I was like, damn, okay.
Ooh.
And I didn't do anything big. I really just did, like, kind of like a, whatever this person did to them, my friend, kind of, like, loops back around, or, like, the same level of energy, right? And so 2 weeks later, my friend calls me and goes, what did you do? And I didn't do anything that was, like, heavy. Like, I really didn't. It was just kind of like, you know what? Whatever you're putting out there, whatever you sent out, all the hurt that you caught, like, it's going to come back. And that, I didn't do anything ridiculous heavy. Yeah, man. Let's see. Totaled car. Oh. Injuries. There was a lot of, the person that person was now seeing was being just as manipulative and, like, cheating and doing, like, really awful things And so the ex was coming back to my friend being like, I'm sorry, I really need comfort right now. And my friend was like, no.
Nah.
Yeah, so I think that was like the biggest outcome. But a lot of the time I'm the one that I'm like, let me make some tea so you can sleep. And like, like it's like one of those things.
Sleep forever.
Yeah, sleep forever. We were never truly friends.
I'm glad you don't work with the Morrigan, because 2 different people that I know who work with the Morrigan, when they've done stuff like that, she burns down at least part of their house. Like, one person, their kitchen caught fire and was pretty much ruined, and another, both people, like, survived, nobody was injured, just the house was injured, but the other person, like, their entire house burned down. And it's not, like, an uncommon thing with the Morrigan.
Was like,
yeah, if you're just like, hey, Morrigan, you wanna help me? And she's like,
yeah,
bet, let's start a fire, let's commit arson. Like, she'll just do the arson for you. Yeah, so, if, not saying to work with her if you want to burn a house down, just saying be cautious if you try to work with her to do, like, hex work, because she doesn't go lightly.
I relate to that a lot.
Oh, you want to go? Oh, we'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to do things when it's, like, just petty. But it's like, okay, if we're doing this, like, we doing this.
Yeah, like, if you want to be serious, you gonna be serious, and there's no going back.
Yeah, I read the book on her, I read a book on her, and I think she's fascinating. I'm just not a Dee person, but if I were to work with somebody, I think that she might be one of those. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay, so this one's like more of like a personal thing. Are you prepared?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you see me in 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years. Well, I definitely think you'll be traveling a lot more. I think it'll be heavier in your life, like more important.
Definitely.
I mean, we can get into the astrology of it, but that's like a whole thing for now. How old are you?
Were you looking at my chart?
Not recently.
Okay.
So
I was like,
how old
that's
are you?
cheating.
You're how old?
I'm 24.
I'm 24, so you'd be a first house perfection year. So 3 to 5 years from now would be a 4th to, my math is bad, 4th to 6th house perfection year. So, you know, probably you'll have done a lot of your traveling. You'll start focusing more on like home life and wanting to settle, at least have a home base more. Mm-hmm. So I think you'll start finding like,
oh, good. Yeah. She looked at my chart. I think she's cheating.
I did. My phone is face down on my lap, okay? I don't even know. Do I have your chart on my phone? I don't have your chart memorized. I just...
Oh. I'm using the correct pronouns for you, aren't I?
She or they works.
Okay.
With, you know.
Do you prefer one or the other?
I like they more for the internet, but like, if you say she,
it
really
so
doesn't matter.
Well, I'm so sorry.
I'm casual about it. It's fine.
I will fix that. I mean, due to COVID, obviously I couldn't travel, but...
Oh yeah, we are both vaccinated.
Well, I would hope that we're sitting like...
Listen,
we're like...
So, some people you do have to clarify for, we are vaccinated.
True. That's true. So, yeah, in 2020, literally right as everything shut down, were the plans for me to be traveling full-time. And obviously that didn't work, so I'm just chilling, but I hope that travel is bigger. Where I see you in 3 to 5 years, I think you are going to be, I think you're going to be self-employed.
God, I hope.
I think so. You have that drive, that ambition, and, like, your content's really, really good.
Yay.
Like, if it's good at this point, where you are now, there's no way that it can go down. It's only up from here. So...
Hopefully I'll be medicated by then.
Medicated?
For ADHD.
Oh.
Because I'm free balling life right now.
Ooh.
Free balling life on ADHD is a great time. Motivation is so hard.
I can't actually imagine that. I don't have ADHD. At least not that I'm aware of, but...
Think of when you're running on 4 hours of sleep and you're just like stressed out to the point where you're not motivated to do anything. Make that every single day.
Okay, I can actually relate a lot to that.
Yeah, so make that every day.
Ooh.
And that struggle to make yourself do like basic house chores. And it's not like you'll be more awake and alive tomorrow. It's, every day is going to be like this forever.
That sounds terrible.
It is terrible.
Well, hopefully you'll be medicated by then. Yeah, I think your content's going to be, like, skyrocketing. I think that you're going to be totally self-employed. You're going to have multiple... I'm, like, manifesting this for you. I'm like, do it, universe. That's my manifesting hands. Yeah, and I think you're going to be traveling. Maybe not, like, full-time.
I want to travel a little bit, yeah.
But I do think that you're going to, like, go out and see things and You're gonna be like well cultured.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're gonna be like that spicy like.
Yeah, I'd love, because we have so many friends now in so many places. So if I wanted to travel to like Colorado or Florida or New York,
Yes,
like there's, and it's not just my witch friends too,
and
like
California.
Well, I do have a lot of friends that are in California that like
Oregon,
if I wanted to
like,
stay anywhere, I think I literally have friends in every state.
Do you?
Probably.
I think
Between my
That's a
LARP
flex.
stuff and witch stuff.
that's a flex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I do. I'm not.
It might not be every state, but it's at least most of
every
them.
state.
Almost every state.
Yeah, I do not. But I
A lot
have
of
friends
Texas
in
friends.
different countries, and so like when I'm traveling abroad, you know, you can be like, "Where are you at, Olivia? I'm gonna come stay with you for a week." I'll be like, "Do it,"
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be
Yeah.
so much fun.
and
yeah.
then like you wouldn't have to pay for accommodation because I'd
Right.
probably already be staying somewhere.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyway,
yeah, we have good plans for each other.
good plans.
Okay, what's something on your bucket list?
Ooh. That's hard. I don't usually think about my bucket list because, like, I know for a lot of people it's like they're getting older, so they start thinking about it, or because they fear getting old, they fear, like, not getting stuff done. I don't really have a thing about getting older. Like, there's some stuff where I start to see, like, lines around my eyes. I'm only 25, but, like, you know, you start to see it, but it doesn't bother me. Like, my mom accomplished things when she was older, like, in her 30s, 40s, 50s. So I just don't really see any timelines for myself. So I don't really know. I mean, so I want to reach like the highest level of stuff in my LARP, which is like a big one, and that'll take a long time. But in terms of like big life bucket list, I mean, I want to travel to another country. I've never been out of the country. It's outside of just Niagara Falls, Canada. That's it.
That counts,
Barely.
but it counts.
I want to leave the American continent
Fair.
at some point.
Okay, yeah. So you know, you got a travel buddy.
Yes, I do. So at some point, I want to go see, like, Ireland and Scotland. I've wanted to go see Spain for a long time because
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Spain's, and the mosques there are so gorgeous.
I want to go to Spain so
It's so
fucking
pretty.
bad.
I'd have to brush up on my Spanish again, though.
Yeah, my Spanish is I'm working on it, but I really want to make a full like little like day in the life, but only in Spanish to like challenge myself.
Ooh,
Let me
that'd be
tell
fun.
you, it's
very hard.
It's very hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Travel.
I want to travel to at least, like, some other countries at some point in my life.
Mhm.
Probably not alone, because I'd be too scared.
I got you.
Yes, we'll do it.
Literally
We'll do it.
wherever you are,
Literally
I
anywhere.
am happy to go. Let's see. Yeah, I think about death a lot. That sounds darker than
so
it
morbid.
is, but it's more in the sense of like, I like, for some reason, constantly am reminded that life is really fleeting, right? So it's like less, and I have this, maybe I might cut this out, but like I have this like suspicion that I won't live past 40 something.
I don't know
why.
length of life techniques enough to tell you.
That's fine. I don't know why. So there's only two paths for me, I feel, is like I either don't live past 40 or, and I have a fulfilling life. I feel like I'll have a fulfilling life. Or I live to like 80, maybe 90, but I have a fulfilling life, but it's like, it kind of does this thing where like it peaks and then I like lose everybody that I love and like they all die and like I'm like I'm not alone, but it's like I'm alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like it's not like sad, but it's kind of like melancholy, right? Like it's like I've lived my life. I'm that, you know, creepy old like witch lady that like lives down the block, but and like I'm sure people like me, but it's like I don't have anybody.
I think you're probably going to have a big turning point around 40-some when you think you're going to die. Because I had that same thought around, when I was a teenager. I was never, like, super depressed. I never had issues with, like, severe mental illness to that point. But I just had this thought in my head of, like, oh, I'm not going to, like, be alive. Like, I'm just going to die at some point when I'm, like, 18, 19. Like, I just couldn't see my life past that age. And it wasn't because, like, you know, I wanted to do anything about it. I certainly did not. But, like, when I looked back a little while after that and remembered that I had that idea in my head, it was because that was when my life took a big change. So that's when I joined my LARP and found like all of my long-term, like it's when I met my best friend and all the people that I love and adore and that have made such a giant impact on my life. Like it fully just like, not even a 180. I just went a complete offshoot direction from where I thought I was going to go, and my entire life changed. So I think there's just going to be something big that happens for you then. I don't think it's like a death. I think it's like the death
like,
card.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. And like, I don't know. I feel like I'm okay with that. Whatever. And like, again, I'm not like doing anything about it. Like, I'm not like, that's the goal.
Not planning for 40.
No. It's just more of like, that's just like a hunch I've had for my whole life. But I think that's why I want to travel so bad. But I also really like, let's see, there's too many things on my bucket list. There really are. I want to skydive. I'm terrified of heights.
I'm not terrified of heights, but I'm scared of skydiving. I know it's all safe. I know. I really do. But I am too scared of, like, something going wrong and I die, and I don't want that.
But, like, how'd she die? Skydiving. Bitch. Right? Like...
That'd be the way!
Like, I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. I mean, that's a terrible thing to say, but it's just like...
Listen, if you're gonna die skydiving, you need to bring a broom. I'm just saying.
She died flying a broom.
I'm just saying.
A broom crash.
It's kind of necessary, I think.
Oh no, that's actually really funny. God. Ooh, I wanna. I would love to make some sort of documentary.
Ooh, yeah. I could see you doing more with like photography and film in like a bigger way.
I would love to make some kind of documentary. I don't know of what. I think at the moment I would love to see if I could like get scientists and full-fledged occultists together to actually run full-blown experiments. I think that would be a really interesting thing. I mean, that would be years in the making. I don't have any connections to the science realm. Like,
yes, you do. You know Astra.
I do know Astra. That's true.
There you go.
All right, so there's my foot in the door.
Astra, we're relying on you.
Yeah, I have my occultist people, but I think that would be a really cool thing is to, like, make a documentary on that.
That'd be very cool.
Maybe. I also want to solidify my content for like what I like really want it to be. Because right now it's like heavily on witch stuff, but that's not fully the goal. And I know a lot of people get upset about it, but it's like, it's my channel, so that's too bad.
Yeah.
So if you want to stick around for the witch stuff that's sprinkled in, then cool. But there's a lot of other things that I want to produce with my content that I think are important to me and I think are important to put out. So bucket list. Cool. I'm sweating. I wonder it's because I'm drinking hot coffee on a hot day. Maybe. Okay. Ooh, all right. If you could be in any movie, who would play your part?
Ooh, who would play my part?
Or I'm sorry, wait. No. I have two questions. I have two questions of a movie. If you could be in any movie that's already made, which character would you play? That was the correct question.
Animated or real life?
Whichever one. They're both movies.
I mean, I always relate very much.
Whatever you want.
I always relate very much to like Princess Mononoke, like San. I always just feel there's something about like the wild wolf girl. And I was obsessed with wolves when I was little. Like my shame.
Well, you've heard it here first on Olivia's talk show.
I may or may not have done like the wolf role plays when I was like 8 to 10.
Girl, it's fine.
Online.
One of my friends had me in the horse role play thing.
Oh my god.
And I would be lying if I told you I did not enjoy it.
Oh, I enjoyed it very much.
I had so much fun.
Any of you who were like wolf kids when you were younger, or like wolf teenagers, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll know exactly what I mean by that.
I definitely don't know what you're talking about.
We'll just leave it there.
We're gonna leave that there. Anyway.
Yeah, so I was just like obsessed with wolves, and it's like a joke that I'm like a feral goblin, but I definitely have just never, maybe it's the ADHD, who knows, but I just never have like cared about societal conventions of like femininity and delicacy. I'm always just like, I'm loud and aggressive and raw. Yeah, just like everything comes out directly, and just that like, yeah. So
that's fitting.
Yeah.
That's very fitting. Oh God, who would I be? I don't know. There's so many good stories out there.
I see even like a film noir type thing, and I don't know why.
A noir,
like where you're like the sexy lady who like detective who's really cool and sharp with like the long.
So I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, Sherlock Holmes,
like,
but a woman. Yes,
but
100%.
I don't know why I did that.
Sherlock Holmes, but a woman, and film noir.
Sherlock Holmes. I was gonna say like, I was gonna say I would play Miranda Priestley in Devil Wears Prada. There is something about her. She is an icon to me. I
love her. Like, I know that she's supposed to be like sort of a villain, sort of a motivating factor, but like I'm in love with her.
I mean,
not in like a sexual way. I'm just like, I just love
Miranda
her.
Priestley.
Miranda Priestley.
It's just like her quote where she just turns to what's her face, Andy, and is just like, "There's nobody that can do what I can do." Yes. I was like I remember as a child, I was like, this God is a woman.
The power that she held over like the entire industry, over everyone who walked into the room with her, and how just like I admire because I'm a little bit feral. I admire the like cold confidence where she's just like that scene about the blue sweater, like just meticulously tearing her apart thoroughly and showing that she knows what she knows and showing how much more there is to it because somebody is underestimating her field when she knows no one can do what she does, and she shows that in that moment so well.
Yes. Well, and I think as a child, so I mean, I grew up around only brothers. I had dominantly male friends, so I had a lot of like male energy around me, and so the amount of toxic masculinity and misogyny that I have had to unlearn, you do not understand. I mean, I'm sure you do, but like,
were we both that like not like other girls thing?
I don't know if it was that.
I had a little of that.
It was definitely like I was really mean and like I was loud and definitely leaned towards like a lot of masculine things because I knew that I wasn't going to be taken as seriously if I leaned more towards the feminine. It was more of that.
Oh, I had a whole phase where I was like, skirts are stupid and I don't want to dress like a girl.
I had that for sure because I was like, you will never catch me dead in heels and a dress and makeup, and then like, look at me now. That's funny. But how things change. No, so it was definitely like that type of thing. And I think the movie Devil Wears Prada was the first time that I'd seen a woman in power who wasn't like, oh, like I'm edgy and I fit in with the boys. Like, she is very feminine. And that is how like that feminine power, because like masculine power, it's like abrupt and aggressive and in your face, whereas the feminine power, that was the first time I'd ever seen that in action and worked so well, where she was like very classy and poised and had that like coldness, like it was very like Queen of Swords energy, right?
Yeah.
And so like, and it was just so incredible. So that was a huge turning point. I think Miranda Priestley or Toph in the Avatar.
Yep.
Very different people, but I feel like Azula in Avatar. It's my Aries moon, I think. Azula Avatar. Okay, anyway.
Well, and like just one last note about Miranda. It's one of the first times that you see in media a woman who is able to be like that level of cold and confident and strong without her having to physically fight someone. Because all the other movies, they're always like they're martial arts or they're like sword fighting, and like that's really cool. Obviously, I love that. Warrior witch energy. But it is nice to be able to see a woman who doesn't have to like do the masculine fighting thing in order to be taken super seriously. It
is so built in the feminine power that like so much on that other side of the spectrum that like I think that's why that movie holds up so well. And I mean, like the actress.
Yes.
I'm forgetting her name actually.
Meryl Streep.
Fucking Meryl Streep. God is a woman.
God is a woman. Well, the other flip side of it is to describe me versus my mom, because I get a lot of my traits from her. I relate much more to the Miranda Priestley type of like feminine power. My mom relates more to Elle Woods.
Okay, Elle Woods is a mood. I think her and I would be friends.
Yes.
Like the character. I don't think I could ever be her, right?
Yeah.
But like, that's another good one. I love that a lot. Is like, you just be whatever and whoever the fuck you are 100%, and as long as you're kind, because she's kind to everybody.
She is kind to everybody. She's wicked smart. Like she seems like she'd be that blonde bimbo stereotype, but even when she's talking about like the fashion stuff, she knows exactly what she's talking about.
She's smart.
It's just it's the
not that like women aren't smart, but it's like she doesn't try to downplay anything.
Yes. Well, and she's more like the bubbly type of woman versus Miranda, but they're like in that fashion way. They both still know their shit.
Yeah, they're both incredible. That's another movie that holds. I'm gonna go home and watch all these old movies.
I watch Legally Blonde from time to time when I want to feel good about myself. That's a secret.
It's so good.
It's not a secret. Like even
tweet it right now. I love that you guys use. I've been using Twitter so much more often because
it's
of you
so good. It's so good.
For all of you. Twitter break.
I watch Legally Blonde when I want to feel something.
It's very millennial.
It is very millennial. You do have so much blackmail on me now. You are right.
I really do.
You really do. You know where I live. I mean, that's...
I do. That's true. I am staying in your home, so... I'm surprised. That's like one of the things is I've literally met... You were the third person off the internet that I've met in person. Well, okay, technically in my whole life, but like for YouTube stuff or like
witchy Who's the first one? Because like Marshall would have been number 2.
Annie.
Oh, Annie. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
in the witchy realm and stuff, Annie just allows me to come in and stay with her at her home. Marshall allows me to come in and stay with him at his home. Nike allows me to come in and stay with them at their home. Like, could you
even imagine?
I know. The first thing they said to me, like they opened the door, or I opened the door, and they were like, "You're a real person," and I was like, "Yeah, you are too."
Well, it's so weird to like see somebody that you've met online, and like we've done video calls, we've done voice calls. It's not like we were just text friends only. Right. So like obviously there's more of a connection, but like the reality setting in of they like arrive at your home.
Yeah,
they're like
they're right there. Yes,
like it's so weird. Well, there's that weird boundary where you're like, am I allowed to like put my hands on you?
Together, you're like.
It's weird to now have like a physical setting in which you can interact because there's new levels to boundaries and stuff.
Yeah, well, and then like we kind of just had this moment where we just stared at each other like
taking it all in.
Yeah. But it's cool because then you know that you're actually friends too, because it does feel like we've been friends.
Yes.
For quite some time, and it felt like that with Marshall and Annie, you know, and it's just like really cool to. The internet's cool. Anyway, we can move on. The next one is also about movies. I like movies and shows, as you can tell. If you had a movie made about your life, who would you want to play you?
See, that's a hard one for me because I always feel like I have so much more... Like, I don't look like the typical actors and actresses that you see out in the world, so it's really hard for me to pick somebody that I feel like could portray my personality well enough and be close enough in look, because there's like specific features that I want to stand out in somebody who would play me. So I need somebody with like
what?
For me specifically, it's the sharp eyes. Listen, as much as I don't like them, I ain't got no lips. So they also cannot have lips. They cannot lie to the world. Okay? No lips. All right?
CGI the lips out.
Yeah, just take them right out. And the strong jaw especially. Like
defining features that need to be there.
I have a slightly more masculine face. Like, I look like my brother and not in like you're siblings. Like, they literally thought we were twins. Like, all the time we'd go out.
Really?
Yeah, people would ask if we were twins. He's a full foot taller than me.
I don't look anything like my brother. I only look like my
We look so similar. I'll have to show you pictures in a little while. But, like, yeah, 100% we just look like twins. Like, especially when I'm upset and sort of surly, because he's more of like the grumpy type.
Yeah.
Or at least he just looks it. Yeah, we look exactly the same. We laugh the same way.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
if
God.
you record it, it's just in like different pitches. So I don't know who I'd want to play me. That's a really hard one.
I know. Yeah, you can think about it.
I'd have to take like a couple days to figure it out.
Okay.
Honestly, it'd be a while. People in the comments should say who they think could play me.
Yeah. Who do you think would play Nike?
Because I don't know. They also have to be able to rock the short hair. Like.
Yes, 100%. I see, okay, this is the thing is, I know that a lot of people are going to be like, Aubrey Plaza for me, and I love her 100%, like, I would but I don't think that she carries my same energy.
No.
Like, if she played me, I wouldn't be upset because it's fucking Aubrey Plaza, but I don't know what it is. Why don't I just play myself? That's a power move. I'm like...
Let me just play myself.
Yeah.
CGI me younger, it's fine.
It'll be fine, yeah. Or I guess, like, hire child actors. There's a lot of talented people that get overlooked, but, you know, we'll see. I don't know. That was an interesting question. Okay. What is a non-witchy hobby that you haven't shared online?
I know that I'm the one who brought this one up because I had a thought in my head and
We don't have to answer
gone.
if you don't want to.
Oh, sewing. Sewing is the one that I was thinking about.
Oh, okay.
I don't, like, love it, and do it all the time, but, like, sewing, anything really, like, craftsy, I really just sort of pick up really naturally, but, like, sewing and embroidery, I know how to do, and I can do it pretty decently. I'm not, like, amazing, but, you know. Like, I've shown that I sew my tarot mats, but, like, I've fully, that purple thing that was slung over the chair, like, I fully just made myself a dress.
That's cute.
And
that's
I
really
made
cool.
I made pants for a friend before. Like, I can do all that stuff, so, like, that's the thing that I...
That's cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
you sew. I'm trying to think of, like, what... I feel like I mean, like, I don't, like, share them all the time online, but I have shared them.
Yeah.
So, I don't think... Because I sew, but I've put that online. I play guitar, but I've also put that online. Oh, fuck.
I mean, I sing. I just don't sing a lot in front of other people. It always shocks people when I say that I can sing, and, like, when I sing in front of them. So I wouldn't be, like, rock star on the radio kind of voice. I feel more like a Bo Burnham voice, you know what I mean? Where it's not, like, beautiful and melodic, but, you know.
Yeah, but it's, like, it's got, like, texture to it, probably.
Yes, yeah, the texture to it is. But it also, because my speaking voice is usually, like, a lower register, or it's really high-pitched and there's, like, no in between, it's sweeter than people would expect it to be. But I also have horrible stage fright, so I don't like singing in front of other people.
Rip. Yeah, I think lives freak me out. And I don't even know why, because, like, I don't mind being on a stage or, like, talking to people. But live streaming.
See, and I like live streaming. It's just tiring.
I hate live streaming. I don't know what it is. Like, I like it because I can interact with people directly, but...
There's pressure to be on and perform.
Yeah, because it's, like, it's boring to watch unedited footage of somebody, right? And it's like, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I don't think I have any hobbies that, like, I have not shared online before.
Yeah, I'm pretty free about mine, because, like, I've even shared the sewing, but I don't show, like, the extent of what I can do.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot, but I can do stuff.
Yeah, and, like, I like to paint and draw and things like that. I mean, like, I don't share it all the time, but, like, I do those things, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there something that you have that's inconspicuous but actually has a magical function?
No.
Oh.
My stuff's all, like, kind of
Out there?
obvious. Yeah. I mean, I have my, like, witch books up on the shelf there, and I have my altar out in plain sight. Like, it's obvious to people what I do. I really, like, I have clovers in my car for safety, like, protection.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's kind of inconspicuous. I'm trying to think of mine. A lot, like, my headbands, or, like, and, I mean, I know that, like, a lot of people veil, but sometimes it's, like, instead of wearing, like, a hematite ring, I mean, I have those, not on me right now, but, like, instead of wearing those, sometimes, like, I'll spray my headband with, like, Florida water or something, or, like, something protective, or, like, a protective mist or whatever, or, like, I'll, like, shake up a little bit of oil into, like, a little tiny spray bottle and spray it, so it's, like, I have this goal digger one, so, like, if I really want to be, like, on it, boss lady, I want to make sure that I'm, like, in my business mindset type of thing, I'll spray it on that, and, like, I'll wear it on my head, and, like, kind of hope that's, like, probably the only thing. I have a bunch of, like, little charms and stuff in my room, or that little wall hanging that's, like, in the back of my videos, it's, like, a stick, and then it has, like, some kind of, like, macrame type of stuff. It's, like, not magic, but yeah, like, just, like, little things. Like, if anything looks crafty in my house, it's probably witchcraft. What's the hardest thing for you about being a witch?
Honestly, it's telling people, and it's not because I'm afraid of, like, judgment in, like, the losing friends way, because if you don't want to be friends with me because I'm a witch, go fuck yourself. But it's more like, I have struggled my whole life to be taken seriously, because I'm really small. I have always had a really high-pitched voice. People don't tend to listen to me for some reason, like when I try to speak to them and tell them what I'm thinking or feeling or what I think should be done. So, you know, I've worked really hard to be taken seriously, especially, like, among my LARP friends. I want to be taken seriously as, like, a full adult person, because, you know, when you're younger, nobody takes you seriously either. I've worked so hard to cultivate that with my community. And I know that there's people who, as soon as I tell them that I'm a witch, because everyone assumes I'm an atheist, it's like a legitimate shock when I tell some people. Some other people, like, obviously know. I don't know, I just know that there's people who are gonna immediately see me as, like, the woo crystal girl. And I'm like, no, you don't even understand. Like, give me your birth chart and I'll show you what magic is. Like, let me tell you.
Ooh, power stance.
So, like, I've done that to people where I'm like, they say that they're skeptical, and I'm like, okay, give me your birth time. Because, like, they're curious, you know?
Yeah.
They're not just like, you're stupid. But they're skeptical, but I can see it in their eyes that they're starting to be like, oh, God. And I'm like, no. Let's, like, I'm not doing woo bull. Let me show you. And we go through it, and they're like, oh, what the what? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the thought of losing respect from people because they'll think that I'm something that I'm not.
That is ridiculously relatable. Yeah, I mean, I think, it's a lot of the expectation versus reality type of thing when you tell people, especially even if they are spiritual, and they're not, because, you know, there's so many it's such an umbrella of being spiritual, of being a practitioner. So it's like, if you talk to somebody spiritual, your practices are going to look so different, you know? And it's like, I think you and I have similar, but, like, they are
Similar
still
enough.
very different.
Yeah.
Like, similar enough to the point where, like, we will understand a lot of, like, oh yeah, I get why you're doing this or what you're doing, whatever. But the actual practice itself will still be very different. And so meeting spiritual people is actually very hard.
Yes.
Because, you know, you do meet other people, and they like their crystals, and they like their
incense.
their incense, and, you know, like, it's purely just that.
Yep.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
But
there's nothing wrong with that.
It's hard to relate to that when that's not what your practice looks like.
Meeting the more woo people, they're usually very sweet, but there's just, like, not level as in more advanced, but just, like, level as in you're on different places.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing of somebody who is trying to get their art pieces into, like, international shows and museums, and trying to, like, become, you know, like, a well-known artist, compared to somebody that's like, oh yeah, like, I doodle, you know,
Yes.
sometimes. And, like, that doesn't mean that either of them are less or more of an artist. It just means that their intentions for doing art are very different.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I think that's probably one of the hardest things. And then also,
For me, it's like when it's meeting the spiritual people, trying to suss out if they do it because, I don't know if this can stay on YouTube, people that do it because they really like to smoke and this is their excuse.
you know, you meet those people, you do.
Which is like, that's fine, do you, but
Yeah, like
also
meeting-
I'm not looking to...
Or, like, hard drugs.
Yeah, like, I'm not looking to do that with my practice. I'm looking to, like, practice.
Which, you know, there's so many practices that they use drugs, but it's like there's a difference between,
Yeah,
like,
they're not doing
recreational-
beneficia. They're...
Right,
yeah.
like, and ritualistically there is a difference. Yeah, so I think it's such an umbrella that it's hard to meet people that, like, understand your practice.
Yeah.
Right? And that being said, I have plenty of people who are totally different in practices and very, very good friends. But yeah, I think meeting people is probably one of the hardest things. And keeping up with shit. It's a full moon.
Every month.
I don't do things all the time for, like, maybe I'll take a bath or whatever, but it's like, your girl's busy.
I usually don't do stuff on the
It's so
full moon.
hard. Like, maybe I'll light an extra little candle, or, like, put out an extra glass of water for the ancestors, or, like, things, or do, like, a full tarot spread, you know, but I don't know. I think people also expect, like, doing this whole elaborate thing.
I do more on the new moon than anything else.
Yeah, I work with the new moon a little more, but, you know.
All right, like I said, that was part 1. If you want to see part 2 and you're still here, go to Olivia's channel. I'll link it here because I'm good at getting things correct. And otherwise, you should follow me on social media. I do Twitter, Instagram, obviously here, YouTube. I do streaming now on Twitch, so you should follow me there too. Otherwise, that's all I got for you guys this week. So have a good day and blessed be.